EnvisionSelfHealing.com, and in this video I'm going to be looking at how you can improve your eyesight with a free ebook. Now the ebook is called A Modern Day Guide for Improving Eyesight, and it's a book that we've spent, Richard and I, over these last few weeks, which is why I'm going to apologise for not doing a video for the last few weeks, but I promise you we have been working hard to get this book out, and you can find it on our website, and it's completely free. And the idea behind the book is that it goes over the foundations of vision improvement. Now, Richard and I have been doing this for a very long time, working with our own eyes, and also working with helping our clients improve their vision as well. Now, one thing we realised is that there's a big jump between knowing nothing about eye exercises and then jumping straight into a program and not really knowing much about the basics behind the eye exercises. And even worse, a lot of people don't even realise why they're doing the eye exercises in the first place. And we certainly find that people are more likely to be successful with improving their eyesight if they actually have a reason and an understanding of why they're trying to do the exercise themselves and why the exercise is actually going to work. It's very difficult, especially with vision improvement. It takes a little bit of time. You know, it took a while. Say you've got something like presbyopia. It took time for you to get in that state in the first place with the stiffening of the lens and of the muscles, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get it back again. And the most difficult thing is to keep on the path of eye exercises, to keep going with them regularly and indeed work them into your daily life, so that eventually the structure of the eye and everything starts to adapt to the new visual habit that you're actually installing. Now, the way we did this in A Modern Day Guide to Improving Eyesight was we took the real fundamentals of eye exercises. What we found that if any person, no matter what their condition, if they focus on these smaller eye exercises, these easier eye exercises, then it means they're going to be on the right path to improving their eyesight. And it also lays a good foundation. If you can work with some of the exercises, if you can integrate what we're explaining in the book into your daily life, then you're going to find that when you start focusing on a program, it's really going to be that much easier for you to be successful with the eye exercises. And it also means that you're going to understand your own eyes. As you go with the exercises and as your program develops, you'll find that your vision and your eyes change, which is natural because, you know, the eyesight is actually changing. It's important that you can adapt with that. Now, if you don't have a fundamental understanding of vision improvement, then when a change or something occurs, then you're going to be less likely to be able to counteract it and find which eye exercises are going to be best to do next, or what it actually is that's going on in the first place. It's also important to get this understanding so that you know a realistic time of how you're going to improve what it is you're trying to improve in your eyesight. And by understanding the anatomy of the eye and understanding how the exercises work with that anatomy, then it's really going to help you in order to progress with your eye exercises and indeed improve your vision that much better. So the structure of the book, we've done it in a way that is easiest to understand for the general public. We find that a lot of people get overwhelmed with the anatomy of the eye, and quite rightly so. There's a lot of difficult things to understand there, and figuring out the structures, and sometimes different textbooks might say different things and so on. So what we tried to do was strip all the information that we've got from over our years of vision improvement and also our backgrounds in anatomy physiology, and trying to apply that to a book to make it as easy to understand as possible. We also wanted to try and combine it with the basic eye exercises and also an integration, so it's easier for you to do the eye exercises and fit them into your daily life. A big frustration that we have and a lot of our clients is finding the time to actually do these eye exercises in the first place. and when we've got work or kids or a social life outside our work or anything else, then it's very difficult to find that time to work the eye exercises in. And what we find is people maybe do it for a few weeks whilst they've got that motivation. Then the eye exercises start to sort of slowly dwindle off, and then a few months later they say, oh, I gave eye exercises a go and it didn't work, and that's that. But what we really want to try and do is encourage you to incorporate these exercises into your daily life, so you don't even think about it, it just becomes a positive visual habit. So the way we've structured the book to do this is 3 sections. And the first section is an easy to understand explanation of a particular part of the anatomy of the eye. Now we've chosen 10 parts of the eye from front to back. So again, it's that much easier to understand, because if you look at a picture of an eye, or it's just easy to be able to follow from the front to the back and go through the different structures, and then you can understand how the eye is working at the same time as understanding why the exercises are actually good for the eye and that particular structure of the eye itself. Now this is something that both Richard and I have worked really hard on, because it's something that we really wish we'd had from the beginning. It's a real comprehensive guide to understanding how these exercises are affecting your eyes, how to indeed improve them, and what it is the exercises are actually doing to help the eye. So the first thing, as I previously said, is the anatomy of the eye. The second is to give an explanation of why our modern day life, bearing in mind it's a modern day guide, is actually affecting that part of the eye. And then the third thing is to come up with a realistic and helpful example of what you can do to combat what it is that you're doing to affect the eye. Now we've used 2 interesting characters in our book, Caveman Dave and Modern Day Mike, and it's a bit of a conflict between the two. And the reason why we introduce these characters is because Caveman Dave is our old school human being back in the day, how he used to be a hunter and gatherer, and he would be out in the wild hunting, or in fact protecting himself from predators, or indeed gathering for food, being able to use his eyes to pick up those sharp fine details, like HD vision, if you will. So modern day Mike is sort of who we are today. A lot of us spend a lot of time in front of the computer, sometimes 8-10 hours a day. We're inside a lot of the time in poor fluorescent lighting, and we also put our eyes in a lot more strain in our leisure activities, whereas a lot of us prefer to read, watch TV, be on our iPads or any of our tablets. Anything we do is always from close, and it's causing that strain on the eye. So in comparison, when comparing the two, Caveman Dave and Modern Day Mike, it's easy to see how we are influencing our eyes and how we're affecting them to have somewhat of a negative impact that's creating a lot of the eye strain that we get in today's society. So we found that it can be a little bit depressing, obviously talking about our modern day life and how we sit at the computer all the time, and we really wanted to try and avoid that in the book. So it's not so much attacking modern day life, it's more being realistic and saying, okay, this is how our eye is structured, this is how it functions, this is how we are in a modern day life. How can we incorporate the two and come to some sort of a negotiation so that we can in fact have healthy, relaxed, good eyes and good vision, but still be able to work and of course function in our daily lives, which all of us, I think we would find that if it was a choice of work and putting food on the table, or not having the eye strain or having better vision, most of us are going to choose the option of putting some food on the table. So it's important that we make these comparisons, and indeed that we realise that we need to be able to work with both and not just dismiss good visual habits and vision improvement just because we're busy. We've been working really hard to try and find ways to incorporate the exercises so that you can still maintain your daily busy work life, but also improve your vision. So an example from our book then would be the lens as a structure of the eye. Now the lens is responsible for focusing. It's what, if you look at a book, then all the words come into focus if you're looking from near. Within around 20 feet is where they say the accommodation actually occurs. And what's happening is the muscles surrounding the lens actually constrict, and what that does is it fattens the lens and it makes a magnifying glass out of it, so that whatever you're looking at from near then is able to be focused onto the back of the eye on the fovea, which is the part of the eye which is responsible for seeing fine detail. Now, back in Caveman Dave's time, he would have spent a lot of his time being out in the wild, hunting, gathering, looking out for predators. And of course he would have this nice big horizon and these big plains in front of him that he's looking out. Really the only time he's going to be looking from close is probably to check the time on his watch to see what time, no I'm joking, is probably when he's eating or when he's socialising when he gets home at the end of the day. If you compare that to modern day Mike or to modern day society, you can see that it's the opposite. We spend 90% of our time, our environment, being from near all the time. The computer, socialising, reading books or watching TV, anything like that is all from close. So it means that we're continuously contracting the ciliary muscle, and it means that that lens is consistently fat and round. So as a consequence, the muscles in the lens become stiff. And then we wonder why, when we try and look out far into the distance, why we can't see clearly. Well, it's because that lens is stiffened, and it's because those muscles have become weak and have also stiffened in that position as well. So what we would suggest is, even if you're sitting at a computer for 8 hours a day, is to regularly look out into the distance, away from the computer and back again at the screen. Now this obviously is a very small example, and this alone is not going to completely eradicate you not being able to see in the distance. But when you combine it with maybe taking just 10 minutes, taking a 10-minute break every couple of hours and looking out into the distance, or maybe in the evening when you're reading a book, you look up from the page every now and then to help flatten the lens and be back again. And what that's doing is that's like a near or far effect. So instead of just being continuously close all the time, you're actually allowing the muscles to relax and you're allowing the lens to flatten. Now I said before that it's not an immediate solution, but you'll find, just like any positive habit, that gradually the lens will start to become flexible again and the muscles are going to become stronger. Now even better are those people that don't have this already. They don't have the stiff lens, they don't have the stiffened muscles, and in fact they can prevent this from happening by incorporating these positive visual habits into their daily life now, so that they don't have to worry about spending more time doing exercises and overcoming this in the future. So I hope you enjoyed that very brief insight there into our free ebook, A Modern Day Guide to Improving Eyesight, and I really hope you go along to our website and download it. You can find it on most pages there on our website. You'll see the sign, A Modern Day Guide to Improving Eyesight, and you can certainly download it immediately just by So I hope you've enjoyed a very brief explanation there of our free ebook, A Modern Day Guide to Improving Eyesight. And I certainly hope you go along to our website at envisionselfhealing.com, find the book there, and you can download it straight away for free, and it should come to you within a matter of seconds, I guess, nowadays. So yeah, certainly download that book and let us know what you think about it, because we're always learning with a lot of these things. And we also value any sort of feedback on certain sections that might have been a bit more difficult than others. Maybe bits of the anatomy might have been a little bit complex, or in fact maybe not in depth enough. Whatever it is that you find, then certainly let us know. We'd really appreciate it. You can email us at envisionselfhealing@gmail.com, and that would send the email over to us. You can write a comment here on the bottom of this blog or on this YouTube video. And you can always contact me directly at my Twitter account, William Fuller EN, or indeed you can look us up on Facebook. Just search for William Fuller, or you could also check out our fan page, Envision Self-Healing. So download this book and start implementing some of the suggestions and the exercises as soon as possible, and happy healing.